Marc Peard podcast.
Kia ora everybody, welcome along to the Marc Peard podcast. I am Marc Peard. We are on Facebook Live, Twitch, YouTube Live. If you're listening, you'll be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, all the rest, all that jazz. We love having you on board. Tonight we will talk a little bit of sport. We'll hang out with Matua Parkinson, who's halfway through his, quarantine. And then later on, we have North Otago superfan, as he will even call himself, that being the wonderful Chris Rawson, ahead of their Ranfurly Shield Challenge, which is on tomorrow at 2:05. Without dilly-dallying, let's get into it. Blake Ayshford, former NRL journeyman. He's been around the world, he's been around your life. Aysh, shower us with some knowledge that got you through your NRL career.
Through my NRL career, geez, not much because I just scraped through. But, you know, speaking on today's events, Mark?
Yes, very busy day.
Yeah, very busy day. And it's just something we can all remember, just in general in life. I just want people, my great-great-great-grandmother just turned 90 yesterday. And
hey!
She once told me this, and it speaks true to today. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level.
Oh.
And then they will beat you with experience. So really let that sink in, okay? Because out of all days, today is the day that speaks true.
Here. All right, you, Nate. I can see you're a little preoccupied. Is that a Radio Sport beanbag? Did you get one of those?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's one of the.
How did you get one of those?
Oh shit! Oh, I just logged out. Damn it. Well, they were there. Oh, you got one too. Awesome, eh?
Doing it, eh?
Hey.
It's like being dumped and leaving with the favourite hoodie.
All right, Nato, tell us this day in history. What happened?
Oh, well, of course, on this day in 1955 was the first release of the Guinness Book of Records. And it was Sir Hugh Beaver who got into an argument in a pub about the fastest bird in Europe, and he couldn't figure out what it was. So he did what all good rich people do. He hired two poor guys, the McFurter twins, to write down as many records as they could. And the Guinness Book was released for the first time in this day in 1955. I looked at some records that are out there right now. Kevin Shelley, he currently holds the record for the most toilet seats broken over his head in 60 seconds, which is 46 of those. Sylvia Saban can balance 247 compact discs on one finger. And in March 2000, Christophe Berthaud, actually, you might know this, Blake. What was your 20-metre time when you were doing Warriors time trials and stuff? Did they do those for you, 20-metre, 40-yard sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Well, this dude, Christophe Berthaud, holds the record for running 20 metres. With flippers on, he can do it in 3.5 seconds. So there you go.
Okay, wow.
That is the current world record of that.
Slow. I'm
so there we go.
So yes.
And currently, I hold the world record for not passing any stages on Fall Guys. This is the greatest thing in the world. Sorry, I'll finish this in a second.
Your multitasking is amazing. Like you did not skip a beat when you were speaking.
I studied.
You were about to like this is amazing.
Yeah,
I memorized it all.
I kind of feel like this is one of those team events on Fall Guy, though, where your input isn't absolutely necessary. Hey, you did qualify. Nice. Those soccer runs, man. I hate those soccer runs.
The soccer runs, yeah.
All right, just quickly, #weather chat. It was a horrid day in Auckland today. I know in Te Atatū there was sunshine and then hail and there was rain, NATO. Your side of Te Atatū Peninsula, how was that?
Yeah, did get a little bit of hail as well as that. And by the time I got to the dairy, they'd run out of that new ginger beer chocolate. So it was just a bad day all around, really, over this side of the Ninch.
Bryce Hosking says, weird day in the valley. Sun, rain, drizzle, thunder around. #weather chat. Ross Henry says, potential frost in the deep south. #weather chat. Bryce is back in the East Coast represent. We've got more messages coming through. Tuatara confirmed today. Best
yes.
You wanted to touch on that later on, didn't you?
I'm very excited. I will touch that. All right.
Aiden's one. Aiden's 1 week. You three should attempt a world record live.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's a great idea. We've got to figure out what we can do.
Yeah, we need something
I like
easy.
that.
We need something
Who's
easy.
going to let us down?
There's got to be a whole list of really easy ones you can do. Right?
I'll mess it up for us.
I reckon I will. Whoever does is getting abused.
Yeah, exactly. We will never live it down. As mentioned earlier, we will be talking to Matua Parkinson. He's coming on shortly. and of course Chris Rawson, who is North Otago's. Nate, I'll be the first to put my hand up, and Aish, and think I didn't actually realise they were going to be playing the Ranfurly Shield match. It's going ahead.
Good on them.
Yeah, and this is for you, Blake. If you are from a small town like myself, Poverty Bay, and you do ever get a chance to challenge for the Ranfurly Shield, it is the greatest day in town. The shops put up the shield. It's great. Yep. Everyone packs into Rugby Park. The weka comes out, the faded weka with the ball stuck in its beak and runs around the side of the field. Everyone's there. The little wee town gets up for this big game. They get fucking thumped by 140, and everyone goes, "Oh, well, what a great day," and then they go.
No, well, what you do is you end up going, "Oh man!" But for that first 7 minutes, we had them.
We held them in the scrum, man.
How do they do it though? How does this town get picked? So for me, all I know is ITM Cup, Ranfurly Shield. When you play at home, you defend it. But how does this town get picked?
What used to happen was it kind of started in the era of the first Auckland and first Canterbury teams that were amazing, and like the late 80s, it was like the 80s and 90s, and they got so good that in the end they were like, well, if we hold it up here for our preseason games, no one comes up, so they'd take it on tour. So like Auckland took it down and they played Horowhenua, and I think that's where that might be where Carlos Spencer first showed up. Actually, the first time they went, "Who's that school kid from Waipihu College?" and he was incredible. So they ended up getting him on there, and then it sort of just goes like that, and they choose little areas to go and play. And just like Mark said, it's real exciting when you get a Shield challenge.
Mate, when the Ranfurly Shield turned up to the Gizzy, it was just like, yeah,
it's the best.
We're going to roll them. And then whoever it was that came into town.
And you've always got one local guy who's going to get someone. You watch, man, he'll get him.
Yeah.
He'll smash him. Get him, Jeremy.
You always get destroyed as the local town, but you're the headlines for one day, and it feels special. So North Otago get the chance to try and rumble it off Canterbury. That will not be any easy task. Matua Parkinson.
Kia
ora.
that handsome guy.
Kia ora, brother. How are you?
Kia ora there, whānau. How's it going?
Good, my man.
Thank you.
Tell us, because we do have to go into a segment we call Fight Card, where Nate's going to throw out a couple of fighters that we have to envision and come up with a winner on, and then everyone who's watching gets to input as well. So you can be a part of that today. I just want to ask quickly, though, what was for dinner tonight? Because I have been very interested in all your posts.
Yes. So I actually had beef and noodle satay, something or other.
Ooh.
Beef and noodle stir fry. It was nice. It was good, bro. We've had stellar meals here at the Novotel out at Auckland Airport for meals. I had roast chicken for lunch.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I have been looking now. I'm a massive fan of airplane food. Like, I love getting on an airplane when we're heading overseas, and I love like getting my little package and I open it up and I fold everything out and I put it into the little plastic wrapper and I eat it, put the salt and pepper on. Like, I'm geeky as like that. So I've been looking at all your meals that you post up on social, and I'm like, oh yes, look, I'm enjoying it. Food chat, love it.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're not just little airplane meals. They're like good, chunky. Like I enjoy my tucker, brother, and I'm battling to get through them. You know, like I've still got heaps of fruits and heaps of other stuff in my fridge there. And some of our other mates that I work with went through the ridges, bro. They sent us. They've got the old $2 pizzas, the little kids pizzas. They got one of those for dinner, bro. They are not happy characters, bro. They are blowing up deluxe.
Love it. Well, I don't know if you've met Blake Ayshford before. Aish used to
how are you?
Used to rumble with the Warriors. Now he was. What was your food like, Aish, when you were in the lock?
We were a bit in between. We weren't $2 pizzas, but we definitely weren't upper class like that. We were a bit in between.
Like the $8.50 pizza.
Yeah, we had pizza. We had fish and chips one night, which wasn't too bad. Good fish and chips, but we did have a lot of fruits. The bottles of water, though, we only got a litre for 2 days. So if you got the water, you were out.
Yeah, we got heaps of water. Like down at reception, if you want some free water, we just rumble down there. Oh, you can have some free water. Yeah, choice.
Can you go for a walk or anything around the car park?
Yeah, there's a little car park area where you can walk around, but then there's different time slots you can go over. They take you over to a back covered car park. It's probably about 200 meters round, where you can go in there and start, if you want to get really physical and, try and mana up on everyone and show you your fit ass. Well, that's where you go. That's where the mana crew go. I went over there and blew myself up the first day.
You're like, one day's good enough for me. I'll get back to the walking, Jack.
Oh, right.
So, Mutz, can you explain? So I'm looking at Facebook the other week, and I'm like, oh, there must be some old picture of Mutz when he was in Egypt. But you were in Egypt. That's honestly where you've just been?
Yeah, so I've just come back from Egypt. I went up there doing some work in the gold mine up there, and lucky enough, we finished our work quite quickly. So then we got to go and have a bit of a sightsee around. So we went down to Luxor and then to the Valley of the Kings, which is really impressive. And we're lucky that I shouldn't say we were lucky, but there was COVID and there was no tourists. There was just us. The place was empty, and we got to go and have a look around. Notwithstanding it was 45 degrees, so it was pretty hot. So all the boys were diving into tombs, to try and hide away from the heat. But pretty impressive. Heaps of the whakapapa of that place, and you look at the hieroglyphics and everything, but you can make up your own stories from what you're visually seeing. And I try to take some videos. I'm not the best photographer in the world, but just to try and to give it some scale and let all the whānau see it back home. So it was pretty cool.
What is, when you go into those, I always wonder about those pyramids, does it smell musty in there, or is it like real clean because it's touristy?
These were real clean because it's touristy. Yeah. I'm not sure about any of the older ones, but we did learn some good facts there. As soon as you become the king, they start working on your tomb straight away. So if you have a long reign, you have a long as tomb chamber. So this one we went into, it was 100 meters long down into this rock. So the rock, it's just big solid rock there carving into it, mate. I think he reigned for like 50 years or something. So I bet you his work is ready for him to knock off. So he stopped digging his tomb.
What is the how do you gold mine in Egypt? Like, I imagine Egypt, there's a whole lot of pyramids and you go into tombs and grab gold. That would be how I would think gold mining happens.
Yeah, there's a big rolling ball.
Big. Yeah, not quite the big Peter. You're very intelligent, but that's not one of your strong points. That one there, that comment. So actually, it used to be the old pharaohs' mines, because they used to find big gold nuggets on the ground up in these mountains. So henceforth, they worked it out. Well, there's gold here, and there's a picture of this area that we gold mine in. Back in the day, like a big long ridge line. If you think of it like the Kaimai Ranges, well, now it's just about this big, and there's a big pit, and they've just wiped this whole range out, brother. They just get that earth from there down through the rock crushers, put it through the processing plant. She comes out into gold bullion, but they make something like $13 million a week out of that mine, bro. So, but funnily enough, no one's seen the gold actually leave the mine. So there's something for you.
Who owns it? Is it like is it an Egyptian operation, or is it to do with the Aussies, or like where does this all come from?
No, so it's an Egyptian operation. All local Egyptians work there. It's called the Sakata Gold Mine. And honestly, the heat, like we went there in their summer, she was 45 degrees, but it was hot as the days. And these big rock crushing things we have to hop into and work and get the stuff out of and work in. But it's like hopping in a sauna, and your sauna doesn't last for like half an hour, bro. You're in there for a couple of 3 hours till you do your work, then you get out and jump in the sun and work. So needless to say, I'm just beefing up again because I lost a bit of weight over there.
That's amazing. And do you have a mate that knows some mate who knows a mate who said come over, or how were you? Was it on Seek or something?
Yeah, it was pretty much like that, Peter. It's who you know, eh, brother?
Yeah, totally. It sounds fascinating.
It was. I knew a mate that said to me, "Bro, what are you up to?" And at the time, I wasn't doing a lot. I was doing a lot of hunting and fishing, and that wasn't paying the bills, although I was getting a lot of good kai. And he said, "Bro, do you have a jam at this?" "Oh, yeah, send me the paperwork." Filled it out, flicked it back. Next week, bro, we're off to Egypt. Okay, that's going to be okay. All right, it's going to be, and I've been working for them for a little bit now, and we've done we've done Egypt, so it's always in extremities, bro. We go to Egypt, then next week, not with COVID obviously, but we did Egypt first, then we went to Kazakhstan, which was -16, and just hot as the days to freezing as the days, and then we go back to Western Australia where it's hot again. So, the body takes a bit of a hammering, but it is what it is, mate. When you didn't listen at school, that's what you have to do.
How long are you over there for? Because obviously you come back now. How long are you doing stints in these places?
Yes, they do 2-week turnaround. So we go over there, do 2 weeks. And obviously if COVID wasn't in, we'll go and do our 2 weeks, come back home, stay at home for 3-5 weeks, then whoop off, do another 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks kind of a thing. Some of the trips, mate, it's long. It's actually takes us longer to get there than actual work period. Like, take us 4 days to get to where we work. We'll do 2-3 shifts, 12-hour shifts. Then we'll take us 3 days to get home, 4 days to get home. So, you get paid for traveling, which is good. But I don't know, once again, I reiterate, this is what happens, kids, when you don't go to school.
What is, so you've done this for a while. So can you explain to us now what the difference is like when you have to do one of those hops, say over to Egypt or whatever, traveling now with COVID world as opposed to what it used to be like?
Yeah, it's actually I didn't really sort of get the grasp of it till I walked into the Auckland Airport International, and there was no one around, and I went, ooh. And I was waiting for some zombies to jump out or something, because you normally walk into the international airport and there's just thousands of people. Well, there's no one there. All of duty free was just boarded up. You walk through. We flew into Kuala Lumpur. Everyone's got masks on. Everyone's social distancing. It's gripped the world. Dubai was the same. In the airport, they were really strict. You had to have a test within 4 days. If you didn't, they'll just chuck you on a flight and send you back home. So all of that kind of paperwork stuff, the logistics of it, even up at our mine site, we had to wear our masks, and we're in the trenches, bro, and you're sweating like crazy, bro. And, all you need is some water, but you had to have your mask on because there's fellas coming around checking your mask. And it's just, I suppose, part of the world today. It was pretty difficult though. We had to rock up. Normally we take 2 flights. This time we took 4 flights, and we isolated up over in Egypt. Only 2 days though, but we stayed at this hotel. Oh my God! Like, I sleep rough. I go hunting, and I consider myself quite a hearty gentleman in that category. But this was next level, bro.
Why? How?
This one.
Tell us the stories.
You turn on the tap, and it's just brown water flowing out of there, and it was stunk, bro. It was hunger, bro. And you're going, okay, how am I supposed to wash myself in that? And the fellow goes, no, it's all right. You just run, so you got to leave it running. So I left it running for about half an hour, looked at it now, turned it off. Our food come in like these polystyrene boxes, and we didn't know until the second day, but they were all just stacked up down in the foyer because the foyer was empty. There's no one there. So he just stacked them all up, our boxes, and he'll just bring them up each day, 4 boxes for, 3 boxes for your meal those days. The meal's your day. But they'd been down there since we'd got there, and we were down there, been down there 2 days, and it was about 60 degrees, and your cheese and your meat had just all sort of melted together and wasn't supposed to. And so you're thinking, oh, okay. But yeah, it was a different thing, good to have a crack at it. But it was the 1-star.
Speaking about different, I need some advice. So I'm looking to buy a bar, and I understand that you used to own a bar, and
yes,
from what I heard, it was successful. They used to like to come in and see the wet t-shirt contest and things like that. I'd like to know what is that the way I should go? Is that the way I should go?
Look, big fella, you got to read your clientele. We firstly, I need to know this. Have you got a young family?
Yes.
Well, having a young family and owning a bar is not conducive, mate. It just about got me divorced several times. The hospitality industry is a tough one. She's a tough one because, you buy your alcohol for X amount, you got to sell it for X amount, and people can go across the road and buy a dozen for the same price you're trying to sell. But wet tissues competitions, they're good to go, mate. Summertime.
That's where I'm at.
That's all I needed.
Good to go.
All right, Natty, speaking of good to go, are you good to go with Fight Card?
Oh yeah, so last week's fight.
I'll play the intro. Hang on a second.
Let's get it on. Let's get ready to rumble! Unbelievable!
All right, Nato, tell us what we were. What was last week?
So last week we went with the fight of all fights in New Zealand. Who's the better commentator, TJ or Nisbo? Was who we had, and the audience went with Nisbo. Actually, they like heritage. They went with Nisbo for that one. So there you go. I think it's probably that whole comforting voice thing that you've heard for a long time. So there you go. Today, this is based off what I did for dinner last night, and I was like, ooh. So sweet and sour pork versus fried rice. There you go. Sweet and sour pork versus fried rice. Which one do you go for? There you go.
Well, I feel
bet
like
if you're in a hotel in Egypt, like I don't know what either of those would be like there, Matua. But if you do that, like what's your first go to when you do that? Do you go the sweet and sour pork or do you go the fried rice first? Where do you look?
Go the fried rice, mate, because they don't have pork in Muslim countries, so I don't think you get sweet and sour pork in Egypt. But I'll go the fried rice.
There you go. All right.
Aish, where are you headed?
I'm probably sweet and sour pork. The fried, I think I think it's a bit juicier. The fried rice a bit dry for myself. Yep, I'm going sweet and sour pork.
All right, I'm hitting I'm hitting sweet and sour pork as well, simply on price alone. I feel like the ingredients needed for sweet and sour pork adds up to more.
You're the worst Jewish guy ever.
I need to get more money. I want money, I want value for my money, so I'm going sweet and sour pork because fried rice.
Oh, hold on.
You're the worst Hebrew.
How can you go past fried rice? It's rice chucked in the pan with an egg. How cheap is that?
Exactly. But usually I'd pay for it. So I'm talking about whether I'm paying for it because I'm not making sweet and sour pork myself. I can't do that, and I'm not making fried rice. I mean, I could make it, but if I'm headed to the takeaway store right now, is it Michael Chang? Michael Chang is out.
Oh, John Chang.
John Chang. Sorry,
John
Michael
Chang's
Chang. John Chang's Tiara to takeaway.
Michael Chang's played tennis.
Michael Chang played tennis. John Chang.
Oh, you're on fire, Peter. You're on fire, mate.
The latest. That is John Chang. If I'm headed there, sweet and sour pork wins over fried rice. Nato, where you at? Obviously.
Okay, I'm a fried rice guy. I go fried rice straight away. Because there's a variety of things in it. If you're lucky, there's a bit of cashew left over from the last thing they made that's in there, and you get that little.
Aiden's already voted. He's saying Aiden says fried rice. Ross Henry says S&S pork. It's 3-3 now. It's 3-3. We're just adding to them.
Yeah, but I think that was a good point made up. Chicken fried rice is where it's really at.
Oh yeah, it's good. That's
good.
Good.
Man.
Chicken, sweet and sour chicken's good as well.
Sweet and sour chicken is good. They do that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going the fried rice.
All right, we're gonna hit some news stories now. Things that took our fancy, and Matua, we've also got a whole heap of things that happened over the last week where you've been in isolation that you probably haven't been able to express your views with people because you're simply there in isolation. So we're gonna throw some of these things that have happened in the last week to you, and we just want your first reaction or how you reacted to it when you first heard it. But before we get into that, today was a very, very busy day. The NBA came screaming to a halt. Its season almost looks like it's going to be ended, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks boycotted their game against the Magic today, and then the rest of the teams followed suit. This on the backs of the Jacob Blake shooting that happened in America, and obviously their continual charge and push to the Black Lives Matters movement. I put up a couple of posts today, and man, the feedback, the people commenting on it took off. There is a certain divide in between right and wrong, and what people believe and what they think happened and didn't happen, and all sorts of stuff that's going on. But basically, we use sport, well, I know I do, as escapism from politics. I love it. It's like my movies. These things happen, and I'm blown away by the athletes and what they achieve and what they do, and I go on that journey with them. So I figure from where I sit and what I do and what I believe, that if I am with these players during their triumphs and their good times, then I should be with them when they're standing for something, or during their dark times and lower times. So this being one of them, I put those posts up and had plenty of robust discussions. Even had to ban my first person from the page today because he wasn't making sense and he disagreed with me, and I'm always right. No, not that case at all. But there was a banning, and that was because there was a bit of trolling happening, so we had to do that. But I'm interested from where you guys sit. Now, the way I view it and see it and what's going on in America is something's not right. And I don't know it. I can't experience it because I'm not there and I'm not of dark skin. But for those people and those athletes that I follow, when they stand up and say, we're not playing today until something is done and something changes, all of a sudden, I can't use sport as an escapism from politics because it's right there in my face and sport is taken away. So in that instance, I'm interested to hear from, I guess, all of you guys, what you thought as soon as you went to turn on your NBA today and there were no teams playing, and how you feel about this whole situation. We'll start with you, Blake.
I stand with them as well, Mark. Exactly like you said. I think after the George Floyd incident, they weren't quick to go back into the NBA. And now that this has happened, they've done the right decision by not playing. Now, for people arguing that about his arrest warrant and things like that, about this one thing. Now, all these players aren't reacting just because of this one death. It's been happening for many, many, many years, longer than we've been alive. So if everyone arguing about this one death, and that's why the players have stopped, I think is completely wrong. And I stand with them like you do, Mark. I think they did the right thing today, and I wouldn't expect them to come back. You know, if I was them, I would sit out and make a proper stand, because I don't know what the answer is for change, but mate, they're heading in the right direction. They're at least bringing up the conversation, talking about it, and stopping doing the things that they're there for. So I stand with them as well.
Nato, that was your Magic team. That did they get the win on the backs of the Bucks taking a knee on this, or I don't know. I don't even know if the team's even going to keep playing.
Yes, I think we do, and if the season's postponed for now forever, then we're co-champions, as I understand it. So
the worst team.
No, I think it's good, because I would imagine that if you go right back to, and obviously we don't know because I wasn't there, but if you go right back to Martin Luther King's days, or right back to Harriet Tubman's, or any of those, they were probably told, but now's not the time. Not now, just isn't the right time. This just isn't. Let's try and do that. Let's wait for a better time to do it. And the problem is that better time never, ever, ever seems to come. So why can't it be this day in 2020? Why can't it be this year? Why can't the players actually go, do you know what? Stuff it. If we do this, we're wearing our T-shirts, we're trying to do all this stuff. We're trying to say that we don't want the brutality, and the brutality of that shooting in particular, to hold a guy at close range as he's walking around, just in the back 7 times is just incredible. So if you've got all this on and you're making that statement, of course you want to make that statement. And this speaks to that. The guy that I actually feel the sorriest for in this is the NBA Commissioner, Adam Silver, because I think that as far as a sports administrator goes, he's incredible. Like, he understands my sport is basically populated mostly with African-American players. I don't know what it is. What is it? 90% maybe?
I think it's 75. I could be wrong.
Okay. So somewhere in there, but it's a really high population, right? And he's been very good with, you guys want to wear that protest? Cool. You guys want to be out and you want to say your own things? Fantastic. Like, he doesn't squash them from doing things. And the only thing I feel sorry for is for him. It's like, damn, we're going to lose a whole lot of this broadcast money. But I think he actually does genuinely care about the people that play for him, and I think it's good that he's letting them do it, whilst at the same time I feel sorry. So for me, just to reiterate, I think that good on them for taking the stand, because you're always told it's never the time to say it. You're always told, let's do it another way, or let's do it through another channel. And if that's what has historically been happening for the last 40 or 50 years over there, then apparently all the channels that you're supposed to use don't do shit. So you've got to do what you do today. So best of luck to them.
Yeah. Mato, I hadn't warned you that I'd be throwing this at you, and that wasn't in my intentions, but by all means, I'd be fascinated to hear from you what you think. And if you don't want to, brother, it's all good.
Yeah, I think like the rest of the world, I have an opinion on it. Very much like our two narratives that have just been said, especially around Blake's. It's not this, the George Floyd incident or the Slards incident that's just happened. It's been years and years and years of being ostracized, condemned, shot, killed. So I think, and like what Nate just said, man, it's time. It's time, and these people have the the cut through, because if they're not playing, then there's no funds. There's a lot of people losing money, not them per se, but the people in higher places. So there's going to be some reform somewhere, and I guess there's no time like the present. You got to feel for that man's family his kids were in the car. And what really got me is I watched the news or something on the news, or might have been earlier on today, that there was a young gentleman of fair skin with a fully semi-automatic weapon that had a bit of a incident, fired the gun a couple of times at some black protesters, then walked past the police, and they just drove past him. No one stopped and asked him, what the hell are you doing with that gun or the rifle? Or, so, and I don't know if that's just the media message we're getting fed, but that's what I saw. So, good on those all those people over there. And I if you can, Peter, man, I'd like to see what Stephen Adams' stance is on this in regards to, because he's in the mix of it. So, be interesting. But kia kaha to those people over there. It's tough times.
I just wanted to say, there's a lot of people have had their words on this, but the one that I found most touching and the one who explained it the most to me was Chris Webber. So if you can find the Chris Webber where he explains it, how he has to explain it to his kids, how he has to explain it to other people, it's amazing. He speaks, it's only about 3 or 4 minutes, but it's worth a watch and it helps understand a bit more.
Yeah, I think final thing from me is a couple of little things. One is a lot of people were focused on the narrative of the Jacob Blake case and why he was being apprehended and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of easy to sit back and say, well, bad guy, didn't stop when he was told to stop. But I think the overall rolling narrative for the Black Lives Matters movement is just that feeling of not feared. That when you get pulled over for an everyday stop or something else, it's just a normal everyday thing that we will experience with our police officers, and we don't fear it. We just go, cool, he's got to check up on this, or he's, I must have been speeding. Right. Like there's genuine fear in the black community in America for the smallest of things. And the other narrative that came out today came out pretty strong is, well, what's boycotting basketball going to do? Like, how's that going to change anything? Now I don't get to watch my basketball. What's boycotting going to do? What boycotting does is that it makes the owners who have direct connections to the people who make decisions, the major sponsors who lose out, the broadcasters who lose out, they all start having to make conversation because all of a sudden their product's been taken from them by the athletes who perform, and they have to start having conversations with people above them who actually make laws and make things happen. So,
but any decent protest through history is inconvenient. That's the nature of it.
Yeah.
Like it always is. We're boycotting Olympics because of this, right? It's inconvenient for the organizer. Yeah, it is. Like strike action in a workplace when you're trying for better conditions. Yeah, that's probably more relatable in New Zealand. That's also very inconvenient to people, and that is how these things work. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have a convenient protest. You can't have, why don't they go and talk in a town hall between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. somewhere, and then they could get their points across, and that'd be great, blah, 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 because you wouldn't watch and you wouldn't care. So it has to be made inconvenient for you to notice, because that's when you do notice things. Totally.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Man, there were some ruxes on the page today. Plenty happening. Now, Nato, you had what was your story? You were talking about something that either makes you happy or sad.
But no. I was looking. I've got two news stories. Would you like to hear the one that made me very happy today, or should we stay serious?
Happy.
You want to go happy?
Yeah.
I was stoked. So the Tuatara, so Auckland's going to be a hub for the baseball, which is pretty cool. So the Australian Baseball League, they're going to have Adelaide, Geelong, and Brisbane play each other over there in a home and away, and then they're going to come over to New Zealand, do the 14 days, just like Matua and Blake did. So we don't know whether they're going to be $3 pizza or the really expensive, the big sales pizzas. Any of those as well. Yeah, Golden Novotel, they're going to do that. And they're going to come and they're all going to base themselves in Auckland, and they're going to play at North Harbour Stadium, which is awesome. So they're kind of copying the American Major League Baseball thing, where instead of it being a 9 innings game, they're going to play 7 innings games and then go and double header them all on the way through. And I thought it was pretty cool, being a selfish fan who would like to go and watch some baseball over there, because hopefully that adds to that whole thing where we might get the likes of Manny coming down to play.
Oh, Manny.
That would still be cool. Yeah, Manny.
Let's go, Manny Rodriguez. I want a Manny top. Ace, you were fascinated by a story during the week probably the greatest transfer or slash big name player changing teams.
Mate, Lionel Messi. Like, I can't. He wants out of Barcelona.
He's handed in his transfer request, eh?
And Barca said someone's going to have to pay for it. So, it's going to be the biggest transfer deal of all time. But I want to know what's gone wrong because he's been there from the start. And, like, I was trying to think back, who else would leave? Like, what other player has been with one team like this and was to leave? And the only one I can remember is LeBron, but it doesn't even feel the same. Like, this is just new territory. And they're saying Manchester City as well. So, I don't know. This is just huge, man.
I'm going to throw this name out here. I'm going to throw this name transfer out there and see if it weighs up. Bowden Barrett from the Hurricanes to the Blues.
Oh, Jesus. Peter.
What? No.
Mate, what are you?
In their field.
What's in your...
No, in their field, though, you think about this. Like, Bowden Barrett was the best number 10 in that ball, /15 in that position, and in his peak has moved from one to another. Are we thinking that, or are we just talking dollar bills? Because if it's dollar bills, then that won't transfer.
Mate,
I think we're encompassing... I think what Blake's trying to say is encompassing the whole thing. He's a world superstar, been there since day dot.
Okay.
I want to see the transfer fee. That is going to be huge, and I think that's what Blake was talking about. That's going to be big biscuits. That'll run our country for years.
Well, Bowden Barrett makes heaps of money. Okay, Nato, what was your sad story before we get into running through?
Well, this is pretty cool because, and I'm pleased that Mutz is here too because Mutz has experienced this sport too. So last night, there was the Horn. Jeff Horn, who Alan Jones, the great clip of him when Alan Jones, stuffy old media guys trying to get the crowd going, come on, Jeff, horny. It's like, I don't want to hear Alan Jones chanting horny, but there you go. So it was a look into his bedroom on February the 14th. But anyway, so last night he fought Costa's son, Tim Zhu. Tim Zhu gave him a hiding. And it's horrible to say that in boxing, particularly for someone as good as Jeff Horn. Like Jeff, I always felt sorry for him because I remember he would box on the Joseph Parker undercard, and you'd go, "Man, this guy's technically excellent." But he was so technically excellent, he was like watching the San Antonio Spurs, and people didn't find it exciting, right? But he got a hiding last night, and there were bits where you're just like, "Oh, okay, stop this now. He's getting a beating. Stop this now. Stop this now." And his coach came out and said, "Hey, it's not like a game of football." Where you don't tell your team to quit when you're 20 behind. Matua, you've done some boxing. You've got how to go in that. Is there a bit where it's like, I mean, like how hard is it to get a warrior who's going in armed with nothing but his hands to actually say, okay, I'm going to back out here?
Yeah, well, that comes back to their corner man, bro. You've got to have player welfare or fighter welfare at the forefront of your mind. Bro, he took a flogging, bro. He took a flogging from a younger fighter, a fitter fighter, and somewhere in amongst that, his corner should have just, hey, man, let's be graceful about this, bro. Our man's taking the beating, chuck the towel, bring him in, look after his health. Because, down the track, you got head problems, you're going to have issues later on, like, Blake will know all about this, bro. Your rugby career or your boxing career is this long, your lifespan is this long. It's all about player welfare nowadays, or fighter welfare.
And he has to know that as well, because I read somewhere, because in one of his previous fights when he versed Sarafa, he came back, like he was getting a hiding and came back and ended up winning. So the corner man was sort of thinking, oh, hold on, he's getting a hiding, maybe he might come back here. Yes. But that's where you got to think, like Tim Zhu, man, he's the next best for Australia. Like he's going to be up there.
Yeah, he's right up there. But yourself, but you're in the heat of that battle, bro. You don't want to give up. You just want to keep. That fella got the better of me last time. Next time I play that team, but I'm all over that, dude. I'm going to be into it. We're going to have there's going to be a run bucks right here. We're going to get into it. We're going to mix it up. Even in the heat of the game, and you don't go personally looking for it, but you want to keep on and keep the pressure on, whether it's tackling, running with the ball, whatever that may be, and in the book, in the squared circle, man, you're just trying to stay there, stay in the fight. But his corner can have that perspective of looking from the outside. That's just my personal thing. I don't know. I'm not much of a boxer, to be fair. Anyway, I copped the fucking flogging. So.
because I know on the weekend, Dillian White was winning, and then he cops the hook that he doesn't see, and boof, down he goes. And you can say, well, that guy was losing, so maybe it's like this. But that fight last night, that had gone on too long.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was almost like, oh, the ref could have stopped this. Like, and when you think the ref could have stopped it, and then you're watching 2 rounds later going, why is this still happening? Like, I love my fight sports as a spectator. I absolutely love them. But there are the occasional ones you get to and you're like, nah, stop this one now. This isn't, I'm not enjoying this. And now I actually feel really dirty about what I'm watching.
And that was one of them.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
No one wants to feel dirty while watching sport. All right, let's roll through this because we do have Chris Wilson waiting online to jump in there and talk a little Ranfurly Shield. So, Matua, while you have been in lockdown over the last week, I'm going to run some topics past you that have happened in New Zealand or around the world, and I want to get your first reaction. You get to express to people because you finally got an audience here, people who can say, "Oh man," and you can go, "Bro, what about that?" Okay, so here we go. Yeah. So let's start with the North versus South game. It's been moved to Wellington September 5th with no crowd, and they found the cup in some dusty old room at Eden Park.
Oh, mate, I remember. Oh, yeah, let's get it on. I want to see that again because I used to love going to watch those Prince of Wales Cups games back in the day when I was a young fella, watching Eric Rush or the North-South games. I loved them. They're lovely, awesome games. I want to see it happen because that's an all-black trial.
Cool that they've got the cup too, man, that it's already, they can put it up there and get into it. Yeah.
They did find it.
They found it. So, what other rooms are in Eden Park that we don't know about? The Phoenix got knocked out of the A-League by the Perth Glory.
Yes, sorry, it's not right up there on my sort of sports ladder. Apologies. Good on them, massive stuff. Unlucky.
Oh man, that break that they had to do, when COVID hit, the Phoenix were on fire before they hit that break, and then okay, you're not into this. 10 people split $50 million in lotto last week. One of those winners from Napier walked around with it in her bag, the ticket, not knowing for 5 days that she had $5 million just sitting in her bag, not even caring.
You know what? I'm glad they went to 10 different people because that's changed 10 different whānau's lives. $5 million each is awesome. And I think, $50 million to one whānau is too much. So I'm glad it went that way. But lady, wake up. I would have been checking mine straight away. I was in Egypt and I checked mine over there. Hey, what's going on? I would have been on the first flight home.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, if my wife said to me, "Oh, we won $5 million. We won when? A week ago." I would just be like, "How did you not?"
I'm superstitious.
Hey,
yeah, I'm convinced that if I don't check my ticket on the night and I just casually check it on Tuesday, I will have won. I'm like that myself. So she might be the same.
I'm the other way. My wife, she gets too excited and I always have an argument with her. We get about 3 or 4 and then she goes, "Oh," and I go, "Fuck, too early. Too early. You don't get no more numbers. No more numbers.
Our rule of thumb is we'll buy them and then I don't want to know where the tickets were brought from. Because I know that it's never from, and once you know that the big winner has been brought from places you didn't buy from, you're like, "Ew, this will be another free ticket or nothing." And so it's a roller coaster of emotion. Look how we all absorb lotto and we ride that roller coaster differently.
Usually, it's all about
50 mil, brother. 50 mil.
All right, let's move into what do we got? Warriors beat the Doggies and are showing some real resilience in the NRL.
Yeah, not happy, Not happy. I was watching that. That's my team, the Dogs. Hey, sorry, boys. Sorry, all the Warriors fan and Blake, but
don't care.
I play for the Dogs, so that's my team. And I thought we were going to have a W there. And next minute they come back and give us a serving. So congratulations to the Warriors, but commiserations to the Doggies.
All right, and finally, out of the news, 20-year-old mission woman declared dead twice comes back to life at the funeral home right before they start to embalm her.
Oh, shit.
True story.
Really?
True story. So the girl had, I believe it was something, maybe a heart attack or something like that. She was pronounced dead on the scene when the paramedics arrived. The coroner came in and also said that she had passed. They put her into the body bag. They sent her to the funeral home. They were about to embalm her, unzip, and she's breathing. And so she's rushed back to hospital.
Holy crap. You would have freaked out a few in the embalm, eh?
You would have been.
Oh, another one. Oh, hey.
I used to live above a funeral parlour in Ponsonby Road. We called it Club Dead. and it was just over the road there from Western Park. And every now and then they'd come up and knock on the door and go like, "Can you guys just keep it down a bit? We're having a funeral downstairs here," is what they do. But when you live above a funeral parlour, you find two things. Number one is if it's an old woman that's died, they'll play Candle in the Wind. If it's a dude, it's I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra. And we used to find that on Saturdays and Sunday nights, you know what always used to happen down in our car park? Goths. Heaps of goths that just kind of all show up and put their music on because it was like near a funeral parlour. So there you go.
Yeah.
And that's my funeral talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Sweet chat.
Yeah.
Mato, we have to let you go, brother, but can I thank you wholeheartedly for joining us.
Joyce.
Truly fascinating, your stories of gold mining and of times.
I'm here to please. I'm here to please, Peter.
Good to see you, my man. Stay safe, and we'll talk again soon, brother.
Thanks for the titty advice.
Thanks very much.
Okay, catch up.
Have a good
one. Every now and then you'd smell the formaldehyde sort of coming up. It was a bit, when they were doing some embalming on the way, and it was real cool when they were doing the embalming because they'd have the lights on, and if you came down into the car park, there's just this weird glow.
Oh, mate,
that's going on.
Okay, sorry, I have to bring Chris in here. For some reason,
hotel
it was
now.
Closing up.
Ross Henry, what's the deal with Steven Adams and Russell Westbrook having an argument?
Oh, so
Yeah,
I saw that.
I
don't think it was actually with Steven Adams though. He was having a go at Chris Paul, and then Steven Adams gave him the send off.
Yeah, it was, and he was sort of just being the enforcer guy that kind of comes in and says, "Oh, no more mucking around here." Speaking of enforcers, let's go to the enforcer of North Otago's great hopes to bring out the Ranfurly Shield. Chris Rawson, thank you so much, good sir. Have you got your mic on? I can hear you. Can we hear you?
Yes.
Can we hear you?
There he is.
There he is, mate.
All right, Chris. The time has come. The time for the union to stand up and be counted for. Time to go and rip the Ranfurly Shield off those Canterbury bastards and bring it home. How you feeling?
Damn straight, we're into it. We've got an amateur side, but they're full of hearts. We're ready to go, eh?
That's the story. I was looking over your team. A friend sent me through the team listed to play along, and I looked through it. I don't recognise many players. I'll be honest.
Oh, God.
That's yeah. So, are there any players in particular?
Not. Surely.
Yeah, are there any players in particular we should be watching? I'm looking at the list now.
Most of them, really. Where can you get a prop on anywhere in New Zealand rugby that can kick a drop goal from bloody halfway to win a game? Ralph Darling.
Okay, looking
for Ralph Darling's 100 games plus, and he's still sit there and he runs like a winger, eh? Big fat wee fella like me.
Perfect.
So you got predictions for the score? Any idea? Like, because I remember when I was growing up in Poverty Bay, if ever there was a chance to play an international side, or if ever there was a chance to try and play for the Ranfurly Shield, we always used to start with, should it be nice to keep it under 50? That's usually the mentality.
Oh, yeah, no, bro, we could beat Canterbury by 50 probably. Yeah, no worries at all. They're putting in all the boys, mate. So we'll be right.
Where did you finish last season? Like, how'd you go? How did North Otago go?
We won the Heartland competition, got the Meads Cup. So you know it was pretty easy. We should go to the next division, but we're not allowed to because we're only amateurs. So, but we've got guys there like Robbie Smith and Josh Clark, and they've all been Heartland awarded people. So play games. So.
Mate, I've never been to North Otago. I heard it's a lovely part of the world. How much are we expecting at the game on the weekend?
Well, you're not allowed.
Are you not allowed?
Oh, you're not allowed.
Because the Aucklanders sort of got this COVID thing back again. You guys upset us because we've got a busload going up, and all we can do is clap the guys in and then go and watch them at the pub at TV.
You're allowed in pubs? You guys are allowed to gather in pubs? Oh,
yeah,
that's
mate.
not fair.
Yeah, mate. We can do more than two.
Mate, tell me what it would be. Tell me what it would take though to actually win that shield. Like the team, just imagine it for a moment. I'm guessing you see it as a reality, but to win that Ranfurly Shield and bring that back, like, that would just be the greatest day in your life. Yeah, assuming.
Mate, you would not get a gathering of 100, a gathering of 10,000. And we wouldn't see the shield in Oamaru for probably a week because the team would be away for a week. Take them a week to get home. Be awesome.
It would
And
be.
just imagine, because the Auckland boys wouldn't be able to challenge us because we're only the lowly rugby players in the third division or the heartland side. So you guys couldn't put a challenge on. It'd stay there.
Well, we could at
I've
Poverty
also-
Bay. Poverty Bay could
Yeah,
walk
Poverty
waltz
Bay could.
down and
Baker.
and
No,
rumble
no,
yous.
Poverty Bay, no.
Too good.
East Coast might be able to.
No, East Coast got nothing to do with this. No way.
Probably
No
been
way.
good hiding.
Sorry,
Good
Nato.
hiding.
Were you trying to put a Hawke's Bay bid in?
Oh no, it's good. No, we're up in the mighty heights of the second division there in Hawke's Bay, so we're going pretty good there. Hey, Chris, does it still feel like a good central hub of the community? Your North Otago, like games when you get to go and see everybody.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's sort of like when we go to the Heartland final and we get heaps and heaps of people going to it. And it's just a great atmosphere to go to. And it's not like you have to line up. You know everybody that's going, and it's just a good old hit out. Well, we had our Citizen Shield final, loudest, proudest, oldest trophy in New Zealand.
Nice.
It's gone back to the 1800s. We had a bubble of 300. Well, no, we had 3 bubbles of 100 at the final.
Yeah.
It was a wee bit different, but the boys hit it out there, and now they've got to front up and go to a challenge on Saturday. So, no, they're all keen, eh?
I've always thought it would be awesome, actually, to see one of the Heartland teams nick it, because I get the feeling, like you say, Chris, it'd stay in the Heartland for ages and go around. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be, but it's, to be realistic, it's going to be sort of a bit tough, really, but that'll be fine. It's these guys are amateurs and they're going up against what is really a semi-professional side or a professional side, and it's part of their career, really, their rugby career. It's the pinnacle of it.
Chris, before we let you go, and we thank you so kindly for your time, can you give us your favourite North Otago memory of being a fan, and what was the favourite moment for you? The one that absolutely stands out. Supporting a team that's that it's a hobby for you, right? It's a massive thing for you.
Yeah, North Otago went to Division 2, beat counties, Manukau counties. And we went down there, we went up there, and they thought we're just a bunch of boys going up there, and we beat them by 2 points.
Yes. That's what it's all about, mate. And we wish you all the very best tomorrow. 2:05, I believe. And are you actually travelling in a bus to clap the boys in, or
you're going to clap the boys in and hopefully jump the fence, but I doubt it. But we can watch through the old netting and see what's going on.
Top man. Oh, you're a proper character. Thanks so much, Chris. All the very best, and we wish the boys luck.
All the best, mate.
All right, have a good one, guys.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Oh,
Whew. What have I done there?
Speaker.
That's one of the great things I love about it is like in the end of it, it always seems like it is the little team heading off to play a bunch of pros and get a hiding, but there's something magical about it just for that shot. And it's like a bit that Blake, I've always thought about in the Olympics. I've always had this theory that they should be the lane 9 runner. Okay, in the 100 meters, where you just get someone down out of the crowd just to run, because then you'll see the difference between an athlete that trains every day and someone who does, like these guys, they've got jobs, like they are genuine amateurs. They've got jobs, they're doing things like that. They go to practice a couple of times a week, they try their best, and there is a real difference between athlete conditioning and guy that's quite fit conditioning, right? But it's a beautiful fairy tale of a game.
Yeah, and hey, anything can happen, mate. Anything can happen when you put that ball in there. Anything. You know what? I would not be surprised North Otago come in by a field goal. Bang. What was his name? The prop from 50 out, he said?
Oh, as one of the darlings, yes.
Yeah, the darlings from 50 out. Slotted over to win the game. How good? What a story. Hey,
Maybe
the Shield won't be in the ITM Cup next year. Say North Otago win. It's in the Heartland for the whole year.
Yeah, it'd stay in, yeah.
Oh, mate.
Oh, like I feel like the difference between the divisions is so massive, and it's really apparent when you get to see the Ranfurly Shield games like this. Like, we will see an absolute ass blasting, and we'll be like, whoa, that's right. and the divisions are so they're so vastly different. And as much as we would love to see it, I feel like rugby is one of those sports that the big, strong, dominant team over 80 minutes.
Yeah,
they generally
it's too hard to hide it.
Yeah,
it's not like soccer where you can put 11 guys back and then try and keep it so tight that luckily you get some sort of breakaway goal. It's
well
hard.
in England, the rugby league, the Super League over there, they have two competitions. They obviously have their top flight, but then they do that Challenge Cup. So that's all the teams from like 5th division down, and they work their way up, knock out.
Well, the FA does it too. Right?
Yeah, they're like the FA Cup. I reckon it's amazing. They're really awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool, and it's one of those great things. Like if you play in one of those FA Cup teams for I don't know, one of the Scunthorpe Town or whatever it is, like whatever that is. Like there's that bit you go like, hey, there was a day. Remember when Uncle Ronnie played against Arsenal, or something like those. It's so cool when they do that, and the nice bit is that bit where you get to be more than just a fan that plays your sport. It's like the bit where you go, oh my God, we're going to get a hiding from Manchester City, but I'm going to be on the same field as them.
Exactly.
So I remember, Noah Hickey, ex-All White, was telling me about when back in those days when they played Brazil, and he said one of the biggest races after the game was to see who could get across to Ronaldo first to try and swap jerseys with him. He was like, yeah, man, we were so fast at the end of the game. And he goes, and even at the start with the kickoff, when you're like, hi, and then you're like, do you want to swap?
Starting to work a deal on kickoff, eh? Me,
yeah.
You, we switch.
Yeah. Of course, now we draw with all those teams at World Cups. We're faster.
We're above that now.
Back in the old days.
Yes, that's before we used to draw with people.
That's before we used to draw with the likes of Italy.
All right, kia ora team. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Just a couple of messages to leave us on. Bros, your thoughts? Would an ITM Cup instead of an Aotearoa, I'm guessing that Super Rugby Aotearoa, have been a better idea straight out of lockdown?
No, too hard to organise. And it was, but look, if COVID hadn't kicked in the second time, you would have had double sellout games on the weekend, the final weekend. It would have been awesome. And I think they worked with what they had to make sure they could get it over the line.
I still believe in Mitre 10 Cup being what should be our pinnacle before the All Blacks.
For next year.
And that's where someone like a Blake's idea would be awesome, where you did play like the FA Cup and you're playing with the smaller teams coming through. Is that the FA Cup? Because then your team, you've got a stacked Auckland team playing against North Otago, and a stacked, because there's something really good at the end of it, and the All Blacks are always watching because, the selecteds are at least. Craig Rogers says, great show tonight, team. Only 15/16 days until the NFL's back. Oh, man, after today's news, though, are we
getting sick?
They
will. The NFL guys don't even start.
Yeah, true. It's the NFL.
Roger Goodell.
Lance Orman says, NBA's cancelled, bring on the Tuatara. Aiden says, trivia, Ian Botham used to play football for Scunthorpe in the winter.
Oh, there you go.
We'll end it with that, Aiden. You're a top man. Can I also say thank you to a Will Miller who suggested we get Chris Rawson on, the biggest fan of North Otago. Good luck to North Otago taking on Canterbury tomorrow. We will see everybody next week. It has been an absolute pleasure. NATO, switch. Are you still playing? Is the game still going?
No, it's on hold.
It's on hold? Right, I'm jumping on. Can you accept my friend request, please, so we can
I
play
did.
together?
I just did. I did during that.
Okay,
Fall
Blake,
Guys.
are you jumping on?
Yeah, I'll just check my bank account, see if I can afford the
Jump
game.
on Fall Guys.
Jump on Fall Guys. All right. Thank you, team. Ka kite anō.